Teachers on a master's course at Cumbria University are engaged in their practitioner research. They've chosen to do this through video.
What used to be considered professional development was going to a course, coming back, telling everybody about it. Professional development has taken a very different turn over the last 3 or 4 years. I think there's so many different ways now. Different people learn by reading, by videoing, by co-coaching each other. And I think we've got to make sure that we allow for different teachers to use the one that is right for them.
Put it in the fridge!
I think within practice, Catherine's probably got deeper into children's learning through videoing it and reflecting back on it and involving the children in that. She's actually taken her learning to a different level.
Let's talk this through. What have you done so far? We've had excellence and enjoyment in education, but I wanted to try and encourage the enjoyment part. The question that was at the heart of my research was, what do the children want to learn and why do they want to learn? If I let them decide how they wanted the classroom, then it could lead to other things. I wasn't sure if it would, and so that was the discovery part. When I knew that I could use video, that was when the real interest took off. I said to them, this camera is your visual voice. I've tried to involve them, it's their project, not just my project. It's not about trying to produce the most perfect video and the most great success story. It's about using the film as data to improve my practice within the classroom.
At my dream school, there'd be puppy training, and there'd be like a really, really, really warm swimming pool, and there'd be like we'd be taught by celebrities every day. My dream school would be cooking, dancing, swimming, dog training.
What you're going to do in a minute, you're going to talk about how you would like your desks in the classroom, and then you're going to go into the classroom and you're actually going to put the desk and move everything around into the best possible way. We're going to have a rule for this. We're going to do it in 2 weekly cycles. So what you agree today, you live in that position for 2 weeks, and we'll come back in 2 weeks. But if we use a camera to record it and use that as data for evidence, I think that could be such a positive thing. I'm thinking about this as research, this is finding out what works in your classroom. For me and for the children, so far, what is working in the classroom is the camera. The children have taken to it like a duck to water. They absolutely love the fact that they can film each other, and it's helping them think that what they do say and what they do think and how it evolves is part of it. It's not necessarily about getting it all down on paper fast. Decided between us that we'd like to have new tuck shop groups. So we're having different groups of children running a tuck shop.
I think I'm going to put on first the tomato puree and then some cheese, and I think I would like some pineapple and sweet corn. What would you like, Robert?
And I would like some...
I think we've been filming too much because we've got an hour table already.
I think we should start with, well, we've started with that. Do you think we should do the play next?
Yeah, let's put in the play.
See what it looks like and everything.
Wave at me.
Huh? Oh, that wasn't very long. Let's try the other one next.
Yesterday, based on what everyone said on the tape, I decided that I'd put the classroom ready into positions before the children came in. When everyone came in, we then came into the science room and we had a talk about how we would try and think along the boundaries that we'd set up. We set boundaries of that the year 6 would work with year 6s and the boys would work with boys and the girls would work with girls. And we decided that we'd try and get rid of the boundaries, and the girls could sit with the boys and the year 5 could sit with year 6s.
It's just the same, isn't it? I'll get some. I'm going to get something that matches mine as well, because we're doing a joint house.
We're having a go at sorting out our own planning and have a decide of one thing that you need to cover. But everybody hopefully should have remembered what I said, that as you covered your work last week, you need to highlight it. And I'm going to make sure I do this, this and this, and then I'll tick off if I've done it. So are you going to set standards for your writing?
You could connect it to other subjects like the beacon fell,
Yeah.
and like say how high was it, how long was it, all that stuff.
Excellent, well done.
If you have a story, you can tell it, read it to your friend, and then your friend can see if it sounds good or not.
And then she says, wow, this village is small. And then she's saying really excitingly, I know. And then she says, what are you so excited about?
That's fantastic, that's brilliant. Take the audio, the spoken bit by me, and put it underneath and take my picture off. You can have me talking while the children are moving. What do you think about that?
Should we like it in? This is lots of drawers with scrap paper in and stuff like that, and crayons and everything.
You will only do that by trying it and then finding out, hey, I don't like this, or, ooh, this is really good, I really, really like this. So, you're going to talk together, you're going to work together.
Me, I was playing with cows.
Remember, no arguing with the filmmaker. Bye-bye.
The course tutor, Dr. Pete Boyd, discusses the value of the research so far.
I think you gave the children choice about the physical layout of the classroom, about the social aspects of the classroom, like who they worked with, and to some extent as well about the curriculum. Yeah. So they were at least 3 areas of choice and control.
Yes.
Which one do you think you ended up concentrating on?
What happened was, for about 3 cycles, because I did it in 2 weekly cycles, for about the first 3 cycles, they just moved around into friendship groups. And they stayed with the friendship groups for quite some time, and I was a little bit worried because this is a research project. I wanted to analyse what I discovered from it. And I thought, this isn't going to look very good, it's not going to go very far, it's just, it's friendship groups, what have they learned? And I gave each child 5 minutes alone with the camera, and it was only for me to view, no one else. Mm-hmm. And from that, they said lots of things on it. And we took our learning from that they could work together, not in the boundaries that they were setting up. They thought the year 6 could only sit with the year 6, and they thought that it had got to be boys and girls separate, but it didn't. If they hadn't have had the camera to use to record, it would have been a different project.
Have you found anything useful on that at all in your reading?
No, it was intuition. It was a hunch. It was something I wanted to try. They've got to sit in the groups that the teachers put them in.
Ability groups?
Yeah.
Or...
I think we do recognise that there is research being done on social groupings and classroom groupings, but it's usually done by external researchers who actually come into a classroom, and it's not their classroom. And I think this is different. It's the class teacher taking ownership of that and looking at it in the context of their learning and the context of children's learning. And I think that gives that gives a much deeper insight and a rich bank of evidence to support learning, about learning.
We're having a go at sorting out our own planning instead of me giving them a tick sheet. And I think that's working better because the tick sheet is working to expectations of the teacher. OK, we went up Beacon Fell on Friday, and now the children are working creatively to make the map in 3D effect of the walk that they went on. Here's Abby.
I'm cutting out some string, I'm putting it on, and I'm looking at this map, and I'm working it out. And I'm putting on all the string where all the lines are, and I'm going to put tinfoil over the top to make it come out and everything like a 3D map. First I put some cardboard underneath, then I stapled it all together, then I paper mache'd it, and now I'm going to paint it all.
What do you think your findings are about the choice of the curriculum? Did you have any other evidence to give you some clear findings from it? How did the children respond? What impact did it have, do you think, on learning?
I think that the children started to question how they could find out information because it's a skills-based curriculum. It's how to find out what you want to know, but also I think that the children know more than sometimes we give them credit for, and it's the following of that intuition, that thought that the child might have that they don't sometimes share, and to give them courage to believe in themselves. But also you've got to keep the standards, you've got to make sure everything is happening as it should be.
Yeah. So what forms of assessment did you perhaps use, and new ideas that linked in with a changing way? Because one thing is, you can't make judgments about different ways of working with the same old tools that we were using before. Assessment has to change as well to fit in with the new way of working.
I asked the children about how we could do assessment, and they said we could get each other to read our work.
So they came up with peer assessment, and then they did it.
Yes, they do it now. Yeah, he came up that was the way forward.
That was great.
I was like, wow, they've come up with it.
Yeah. Okay.
I started off with a simple one, but then
What have you done? You've added what?
I've added this switch.
You've added the switch. Well done.
So just testing the batteries, because we've used a lot of batteries and they haven't been working. So we're trying getting them into piles, which ones work and which ones don't.
That looks complicated one, Emma.
Well, I first tried it with just the light, then I tried a switch, and then it was really bright, and then I put this in, and then the light doesn't work, so I need more batteries to make the light and the buzzer work.
You talked about student voice and the use of the video in kind of allowing the student voice to come through. So how did that work for you on this project?
The video in itself with the children became almost a tool for recording, which they absolutely loved. And then I was able to use the video as evidence that I could compare and contrast with things that had happened at the beginning and earlier to things that were happening at the end. And that the camera became a visual voice. It's about learning new skills and applying new ways of learning. And I think using the film in classroom for data and for the children to use for recording, and for us then as teachers to use for assessment, it's a very powerful tool, and it's for the future and for now.
I mean, some people might say, oh, it was the novelty of handling camera, but this was sustained use of video over a long period of time, I think.
It's not just for now, it's for the rest of the year. We're going to set up a recording TV studio and have our own TV channel, which then we will use in assemblies.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's staying.
This is what I'm saying, that the children's enthusiasm it wasn't just the novelty value, that they have got sustained engagement with video.
I'm pleased you've picked up on that sustainability, because throughout this has been one of our key focuses, often with new initiatives and new curriculums. The buzz comes, somebody comes in and does something, the Bonanza Week or whatever it is, and then goes away. But throughout all of this, one of our prime objectives is to begin something that we can continue to develop and that staff will build on. It's not something that's one day wonder. It's about radically changing, not just children's thinking, but teachers' thinking and teachers' interactions that is sustainable.